Oikein hyvää iltapäivää kaikille. Helmikuun viimeistä viedään. Tervetuloa mukaan Finukin ja Westernacherin yhteiseen webinaariin. Mun nimi on Aleksi Russalo-Karhu ja toimin tässä SAP Finukilla toiminnanjohtajana. Ja meillä on tänään eksperttejä mukana Westernacherilla tässä webinaarissa, jonka aiheena on SAP Ariba. Ja ennen kuin päästetään ammattilaiset ääneen, niin ihan lyhyesti esittelisin Finukin tapahtumakalenteria ja mainitsisin muutaman ihan käytännön asian tähän webinaariin liittyen. Eli tosiaan tervetuloa linjoille kaikille ja te olette tässä webinaarissa mutella eli äänettömällä, mutta voitte osallistua ja kannustetaankin osallistumaan kysymyksiin ja kommentein tuon questions eli kysymykset osion kautta. Eli laittakaa sitä kautta tänne live-puolelle tulemaan kysymyksiä, niin me nostetaan niitä tuossa loppupuolella Q&A-sessiossa sitten esille. Ja te tuutte saamaan tästä webinaarista tämän tallenteen ja lisäksi myös esitysmateriaalit PDF-muodossa palautekyselyn yhteydessä. Varmaankin jo huomispäivän aikana voin luvata ne. Hyvä se käytännön asioista. Kurkataan Finukin tapahtumakalenteri vielä nopeasti. Meillä on tulossa aika tiukka kevät, kuten tuttuun tapaan paljon mahtuu kevääseen. Seuraavana on tulossa SAP Build-aiheinen webinaari SAP Finlandin kanssa. Sitten on AKI kautta Kyocera hosted by SAP Printing aiheesta, SAP Print Managementista. Erittäin mielenkiintoinen otsikko siellä tulossa. Ja sitten jatkuu Westernacherin webinaarilla uudestaan tuossa maaliskuun loppupuolella SAP Business Network for Logistics, eli erittäin ajankohtainen aihe. Ja vielä mahtuu maaliskuulle myös Isletin konkuura-aiheinen webinaari. Ja sen jälkeen onkin erittäin mielenkiintoinen uusi aihevaltaus, eli ERP-simulaattorin SM-skabat on tulossa Finukin ja Centriamkin järjestämänä Clarion hotellissa 25. päivä huhtikuuta, ja sinne kerätään tällä hetkellä joukkueita. Jonkin verran onkin jo kasassa, eli joukkueet voitte ilmoittautua tällä hetkellä mukaan iltapäivään Clarion hotellissa. Katsotaan, kenestä tulee Suomen mestari ERP Sim S4 Hanan parissa. Ja sitten pian lähtee myös tietoa, haetaan juuri partnereita ja etsitään mielenkiintoisia asiakaskeissejä tuonne kevätseminaarille, eli RACE 2027 seminaari, joka tulee pörssitalolle. Nämä ja kaikki meidän tapahtumat löytyy sapfinuk.fi kautta tapahtumat saitilta, jossa lisätietoa ja ilmoittautumiset niiden tapahtumien osalta, missä se ilmoittautuminen on jo auki, eli erittäin lämpimästi tervetuloa mukaan. Sitten hypätään päivän aiheeseen SAP Aribaan, ja tässä vaiheessa annan puheenvuoron Akille, eli Aki johdattelee meidät aiheeseen, ja ole hyvä, Aki.
Kiitos, Aleksi. John, if you could share. Okay, thanks. Mukavaa päivää myös mun puolesta. Mä oon Aki Pousar ja mä vedän Westernacherin toimintoa Suomessa ja me katsotaan tänään Ariban toimintoja tässä Finukin tietoiskussa. Ja luonnollisesti, jos haluatte puhua asiasta enemmän tilaisuuden jälkeen, niin olkaa ihmeessä yhteydessä. Next slide, please. And one more. Joo, ennen kuin mennään ihan aiheeseen, niin ihan lyhyesti Westernacherista lyhyt kertaus. Me ollaan globaali toimija 80 maassa ja kotipaikka Heidelbergissa Saksassa, 850 konsulttia, 100 miljoonaa euroa ja oltu markkinoilla 60-luvulta alkaen ja täysi fokussa SAPissa 90-luvusta eteenpäin, hiilineutraali vuodesta 2021. Ollaan siitä hyvin ylpeitä. Meidät tunnetaan parhaiten toimitusketjun hallinnan ratkaisusta, planning SAPin IPP:llä, execution puoli sitten extended warehouse managementilla ja TM:llä, Yardilla. Lisäksi sitten intelligent spend ja business networks ratkaisut, jotka tosiaan tänään ja seuraavassakin webinaarissa käsittelyssä. Slide please. Vielä meidänkin puolelta lyhyt muistutus näistä seuraavista webinaareista erityisesti. Siis kannattaa laittaa toi, minkä Aleksikin mainitsi, on 24.3. Business Networks teemaa jatkava webinaari, rekisteröinti siihen aukeaa ihan lähipäivinä. Lisäksi meillä on ensi viikon lopussa Signavio-tietoiskuja, jos joku sattuu olemaan menossa tuonne Stuttgartin logistiikkamessuille, niin iso suositus vierailemaan meidän standille. Siellä on esittelyssä viimeisimmät innovaatiot varaston ja kuljetusten hallinnasta. One more slide, please. Yes. Ja vielä ennen kuin mennään itse aiheeseen, ja kun tiedän, että linjoilla on paljon hyviä konsulttikandidaatteja, jos on ajatuksissa kansainväliset projektit viimeisimmillä SAPin teknologioilla ja alan parhaiden osaajien kanssa, niin olkaa ihmeessä yhteydessä. Me haetaan tekijöitä näille kaikille alueille. Yes, slide please. Okay, and now from now on we'll continue in English. I hope it's fine for everyone. Let's jump to the exciting world of Ariba source, procure, and pay. Anna, I hope you're ready. Please.
Yes, I am.
Stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Aki. Hello, everyone. My name is Anna, and in Westernacher, I'm in the role of project manager and practice lead for the Polish team. So today, as already mentioned by Aki, we would like to discuss a little bit more about SAP Ariba. What is it exactly? What are the benefits of using SAP Ariba, and how does the source to pay process looks like? In a nutshell, this will be my part, and afterwards I will give the voice to colleagues from my team. So, in a nutshell, SAP Ariba is cloud-based solution which is offering very innovative functionalities for procurement departments in organizations. It has a lot of added value, and within one platform, all the buyers and all suppliers have the possibility to connect, work together, cooperate globally, keep the exchange of information, of events, and stay in touch. There is also Ariba Network, and it has one of the largest suppliers and vendors database in the world, which is a very important thing for everyone who is using SAP Ariba, because it is easing up the daily work for both suppliers and the buyers. Regarding Ariba Network, there will be some more information later on presented by Joanna. Coming back to what is SAP Ariba as well and what it is helping us with. SAP Ariba allows us to optimize and standardize your procurement processes that you have in your organization. It gives you a lot of possibilities to redesign your process, to make it more simple, more efficient. It can also help you with producing the savings, and is helping actually to grow the business on the daily basis. So if you are thinking about remodernizing your current procurement processes, I think this is quite an interesting point to think about Ariba and place everything within one platform, which is also easy to use for the end users, for the buyers, as well as for the suppliers. So SAP Ariba can also be integrated with different ERP systems, SAP, Oracle. So in case you are using different ERP systems, you can also integrate them with within your organization and fully use the SAP Ariba potentials. The system in SAP Ariba, it provides you also with standard process flows, with broad, let's say, a catalog of customizations according to your needs. So thanks to those broad functionalities, you can use SAP Ariba in various industries, automotive, consumer products, pharmaceutical, insurance, but also in the public sector. So if your business is looking for a change and a new way of working within the procurement area, I think SAP Ariba definitely will be the product that you should look for and consider. When it comes to the benefits, Asha, I would like to ask you to go to the next slide, please. The most important benefits for you as a SAP Ariba customer within source part, you can have better strategy planning, which will help you to make better decisions in regards to the spend analysis. You can have also better value agreements that will help you to produce the savings, which is also very important in the procurement area. And one of the, let's say, important benefits is that it is minimizing the risks in regards to the contracts and sourcing strategies. Within the procurement and the procure and pay process, you can reduce your costs. Your compliance process is more is efficient, is standardized. There are guided buying parts for each of the user, which helps to, let's say, evolve the procurement processes. It's making it easier for the end users, and also very beneficial is that the transactions with suppliers are pretty easy because everything is happening over the Ariba network. So also the contact is much easier, and it is helping in the daily business. When it comes to the pay process, what is giving you added value is the invoice automation. So you can also keep your invoices in SAP Ariba, integrate them with your sister. You will have all the payments visibility, so it also generates transparency regarding the supplier payments, and it is improving also the cash flows and working capital management. These were the most, I would say, important benefits for the customers who would be using SAP Ariba. And I think now we would like to show you some general overview of the source-to-pay process and talk a little bit more about it. So Asha, if I could ask you please to change the slide. Thank you very much. As you can see on this diagram, we are presenting the overview of the source-to-pay process. It always starts with the sourcing part and the contracts. Ariba has different modules that you can use. It can be used all together, but also separately. But if you are using them all together, combined, it is, I think, giving the most results from creating the strategy for different events, RFPs, RFQs, creating the e-auctions, cooperating with buyers and experts and risk managers in order to prepare the best strategy for each sourcing projects. Based on that, if you connect it with the contract management, you can directly manage all of your contracts with the suppliers. There is also an option for planning and forecasting in SAP Ariba that is very important, usually for the direct procurement part. In case everything is set up, the sourcing strategy has been fulfilled, events have been finished, contracts have been signed, you can go further with the procure-to-pay process. So having available products in SAP Ariba, you can make them available for your end users in the organization. They can start using the procurement part or the guided buying option in order to ease up the whole buying process. And after every part of the buying, you can have as well the invoice processing, the processing of the invoices within the system, have it visible also on the Ariba network. And all of that, all of this process, starting from this sourcing strategy, going through the contract, performing the requisitions, and finishing with the invoice processing, it is all connected in the background with the supplier's lifecycle performance, the risk management modules that are being that you can also make available for your organization. But within that, there is a lot of reporting options that you can also have. You can centralize your procurement and keep the trading collaborations within different suppliers. So quite a lot of possibilities. Here, this was in a nutshell, but today during our webinar, we would like to focus mostly on 3 points. And Asia, if I could ask you please to go further. Those little boxes marked as yellow are those 3 parts that we would like to focus on today, which is the contract compliance, catalogs, and commerce automation, as we believe these are usually very important points for the customers, very interesting, have a lot of options, and we would like to further discuss some more about it. And to do so, I will pass the voice to Marcin. Thank you. Marcin, the stage is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Anya, for giving us the short overview about all modules which are offered via the SAP Ariba. Mainly, we today would like to focus on the contract management and contract compliance, due to the fact that this is one of the main modules which can be integrated not only with upstream, so where sourcing is located, contract management, and SLP, where we can assign the preferences of the suppliers and make the maintenance of the suppliers management, but also the integration with the downstream, where buying invoicing is located. So this is a value added of the contract management and contract compliance. That's why we have chosen that feature, that module, because we see how big potential that module has. As Anya mentioned in the beginning, that each of the modules can work as a separate island. So we have the contract management for storing the contracts. We have the SLP for storing suppliers and make the maintenance of the suppliers. We have also sourcing, where you can award the suppliers and find the best with who you would like to deal with. Of course, we have buying invoicing for creating the purchase requisition and having the invoice in place. We have also Ariba Network. But how to do that? All the processes are starting in sourcing and ending in buying invoicing, and you don't have to repeat the same activities in order to finalize the project. You have to make the same activities once again in sourcing. Later on in contract, you have to copy that information. Then you have to put that information and somehow track that everything is in compliant. Therefore, we would like to show you the contract management module. Contract is not only the bridge between sourcing and buying part, but is the full work of maintaining the contract itself. So imagine the situation that we have RFP. We have a tender where we have awarded supplier who provided the best price. It doesn't have to be only one supplier, it can be fewer suppliers. Based on that, when you created the sourcing project, you awarded that supplier, you can via the one button jump into the contract, where all the data are automatically pulled out from sourcing to contract. You don't have to repeat the same activity once again, because everything is copied automatically. Then in the contract, you have different possibilities of tracking that contract has the proper signature, that the full life cycle of the contract is in compliant way. So you have a task where you can assign the team members, who is doing what, in which stage. You don't have to track that, because you are receiving the notification whenever your action is required. You have also the message board, that you can exchange the messages with the required parties who are involved on that. So it works a little bit like a Facebook, where you have chat open, you can exchange the communication very quickly, and they are receiving the notification what to do next. You have also a place where you can store all documents, not only documents which are connected with the contract, but documents which are supporting you with signing the contract in the end. You have also the possibility to connect the contract module via the mobile application. So imagine the situation that you're on vacation, you have to do something. You don't have to take your computer with you. You have application where is the approval flow, and you can make very quick action where you are on the beach, for example. You have the excellent reporting module, which is supporting you with tracking a spend. So you have report with the historical data, you have the report, for example, you have a contract with a particular supplier. So you can create a report, direct report, assigned to that supplier. So you see everything, what you did with that supplier. That kind of contract is not only connected in the particular contract, but you can also export a contract for one category with all contracts available over there, for one supplier, for one user who is all the time creating a contract. So you can track how he is performing, for example. You have also different kind of templates. You don't have to all the time create the contract workspace from the scratch. You can create before that different kind of templates where automatically all the data are filled out. So you don't have to do once again the same activities. So you see two options. First of all, you can copy very quickly all the data from sourcing to contract. Secondly, you have the template, which is supporting you with filling out all the fields. So it's saving a lot of time having that in place. Can we jump in, Asha, to the next slide? So as you see, you have a contract. We describe how to create a contract, but what about a signature? You have to put a signature in order to have a valid contract, right? We have two main providers who are supporting Ariba, and they are pre-configured already. So you don't have to repeat the configuration. You don't have to do that. It's not on the customer side. Main provider of the signature are DocuSign and Adobe Sign, and they are already supporting, and they are already cooperating with SAP Ariba. So they have already configured all the activities. So you can also have over the approval flow. So you don't have to track who's supposed to sign the contract next. So in the approval flow where you put the people inside, they are receiving the document in the proper version. They can put signature very quickly. Then everybody are notified from the approval flow that you have already one signature in place. Then DocuSign, whenever you have all signatures in place, the DocuSign is, I'm focusing now on DocuSign, right? But Adobe is working the same. So DocuSign is converting that file to the PDF version and sending to a contract module and saving that file in the document section. So you have very quickly document available in the contract, and you can easily publish that contract because everything has been done and you didn't have to track all the activities. You didn't have to look who is doing what, because the system is doing that. So it's improving very much efficiency and timing. So you don't have to worry about that. And of course, the DocuSign is sending in the proper version the file to the contract module. So you don't have to upload, download the document to put the signature, again upload and notify somebody else to do the action. The system is doing that on its own. Okay, can we jump to the next slide, Asha? Okay, now very interesting topic. Contract compliance is available in the active contract workspace when the master data is creating. So whenever you have a contract workspace, you have a frame of the contract workspace, you have already contract in place. So thanks to the document, which is called contract terms, is the integration between contract module and buying invoicing module when the user are buying some items in buying invoicing module against that contract. So you have the one-on-one relation. As you can see, you have the first integration, which we discussed, sourcing contract, And now you have second integration, contract buying. So whenever you would like to do that, your internal users are buying items against that contract, you have to enable contract terms activities. It's very easy. It's just 30 minutes of work, and you don't worry that somebody is not following the main rules available in that contract. So the definition of the contract terms is the integration between contract module and buying, which define how your business will buy against that contract. But how does it work in the real life? In the real life, it's the glue of three modules: sourcing, contract, and buying invoicing. The main benefits of having that in place is that all the savings negotiated in the sourcing module, all the rebates, discounts, which you negotiated in the supplier, are realized in the buying invoicing. What I mean by realized, it means that somebody is really buying items via the catalog, via the ad hoc line item against that contract, which you already discussed with the supplier. And you can easily create the report if somebody is really doing that. You have the policy which are tracking internal user to do the proper activities. You can create user groups who can really buy items from that particular contract. You have also notification. For example, you can notify contract manager if the contract is expiring. So he's already notifying that he has to make some steps. And the main factors are the pricing terms. So for example, you have a contract. You have a contract with IKEA and you would like to buy a chairs. And then via the pricing terms, you can define numbers of chairs, quality of chairs. You can make the visualization of the chairs via the catalog item. So you can put the picture over there. You can make the limits, how many items in that scenario, how many chairs one user can buy. You can make also the payment terms. For example, whenever you buy from 1 to 200 chairs, the payment terms is 90 days. When you buy from 2,000 to 10,000, it's, for example, 120 days. You can put all that information to the contract terms. You can put limits that one user can buy not more than 10 chairs. And then the main factor is the scope of the contract. You see that slide which Asha is sharing now. We have different types of contract terms which you can define. It can be on the supplier level, so to track spend of specific supplier. You can have a catalog level, category level, and item level. Category level is the same like a supplier level, but assigned to one particular category, and of course to the supplier with who you sign the contract. Catalog level, you have the option to upload catalogs to the buying invoicing module. And then in the contract management, you can make connection catalog to the contract. And whenever somebody is buying something assigned to that catalog, then the contract is automatically signed. And then the accumulation of the spend is working. So whenever you buy something in the buying invoicing, the budget of the contract is already lower than before. For example, we have the contract for 2 million euro and you bought 100K chairs, and then the contract is 1.9 already. And then those notifications are sent automatically to the contract owner, or for example, to the buyer, and you see what's going on with that contract that you sign. You can track the discounts. And the item level, so item level you can create from the scratch, as I mentioned in the beginning. So you can, for example, in the chairs, you can create your own chair in the contract terms. It works exactly like a catalog, but you're creating on your own the chair, the catalog item which is available in the contract, in the buying invoicing module. Okay, so let's jump in, Asha, to the next slide. This is something what it will be very interesting for you. So mainly in the contract, you can sign the contract with one supplier, right? So let's stay in the same example, IKEA. So you have IKEA Poland. You created a contract with IKEA, but IKEA has different location. So in Warsaw, in Poznań, in Krakow, and Gdańsk, for example. You have 4 different localization. And contract terms, it's only one module which has access to both suppliers, to the header suppliers, to the main supplier, IKEA Poland, and to all locations. So we have the master agreement with IKEA Poland, and you have 4 sub-agreements with all available location. And over there, you can decide that we have a contract with IKEA Poland for 2 million euro. For location Warsaw, is going 20%, 30% for Krakow, 45% from Gdańsk, and 5% for Poznań. And whenever users are buying and choosing the proper location of the supplier, also the system is tracking and taking all the spend assigned to the contract, main contract, IKEA Poland, as sending the notification that you have, for example, 20K left. For that location, you have 10% left, and so on. So you don't have to track that stuff. Also, the contract owner is notifying about that. So he can make an action. Okay, for Poznań, I took all the spend. I cannot create any more the purchase. So he can decide, okay, I'm taking 10% of the spend to Poznań, and the Krakow is not 45%, but 35%. So this is only one module which is connected with upstream and downstream of the suppliers, main supplier and the location of the suppliers. Okay, Asia, can we go to the next slide? The whole process, how does it work in the reality? So we have in that graph 2 modules, is the contracting and guided buying. I will start a little bit earlier with the sourcing. We don't have that in the chart, but to have the visualization of the full scope, how contract compliance is working. So imagine the situation once again, focusing on the IKEA. You awarded a supplier, you have the full analysis, you have all the reports, all the historical data, and you have different kind of scenarios helping you with the evaluating the suppliers. You evaluated the suppliers, he's already in place. Now it's only one button when you click, and all the data are transferring to the contract. You create the contract workspace, which is automatically fill it out. So you have to just add a team members, you have to create some tasks, you have the message boards make the connections with the users. And then you are using the contract templates. You don't have to create the contract workspace from the scratch. You have the templates, which is assigned to the category, which is assigned to the supplier, which is assigned to user groups. You deciding which template is actually fitable to that particular scenario. Then, whenever is contract terms, contract workspace in place, you make the connection with the DocuSign. DocuSign is supporting you with having all signatures in place. When the signature is in place, contract is ready to be published. When the contract is ready to be published, you create contract terms. Contract terms, as I mentioned, is the connection between contract module and buying invoicing module. So whenever you put in the contract terms, you are forcing users automatically to follow the rules. You are putting the rules in the contract terms. You deciding how many items can be bought. You can make the visualization of the items via the contract terms. You can decide if the contract terms has to be available as a contract, as a document, when you create, for example, the ad hoc, or it has to be a catalog item. You decide about the payment terms. You decide about the location of the supplies, how many locations are assigned to the contract terms. And then when it's done, you are also making the publishing on that. And then the visualization is automatically transferred to guided buying. Automatically, I mean like 1 hour and 30 minutes, more or less. Then the contract is available in buying invoicing. Then in buying invoicing, whenever you are looking for goods, in the search box, you can, for example, search already for the items, contracted items. So you are full that contract and that item is contracted. It's going to be item, catalog item, or it's going to be via the categorized form. Form, it means that it's a format where you put all the data about the specific items. You are choosing the category, And whenever you choose the category, what I mentioned before, the different contracts already pull it out, and you can choose which contract is the proper one. You don't have to worry that the user will not know which contract is assigned to the item, because you have the approval flow, and in the approval flow you can put the contract owner of particular category, and he's deciding that this purchase is assigned to that contract, this purchase is assigned to that contract. Everything is in the approval flow. You don't have to worry as an internal user which one is the proper one. And when it's done, you create the purchase requisition, and in the end you create the final document, which is called purchase order. Next slide, please, Asia. Benefits. Yeah, I put it some few numbers which can make the visualization how strong contract compliance is, how much savings you can achieve having that in place. We have different kind of implementation for our customers, and they actually see how the system is supporting them. They don't waste the time with tracking all the activities. They don't waste the time to force the people to follow the rules. They keep the compliance. They keep that they can use discounts. Discount is something strong, and sometimes we forget about that. Whenever we sign a contract, we have some information that whenever you fill out the contract, you buy 80% of contract which we contracted. In the next purchase, you have 20% discount. Or whenever you buy everything, you will get some bonus for something. Yeah, I don't want to get insight about the kind of discounts, because this is the different topic. But you can achieve a lot of stuff having that in place. So one of the best is 50% contract savings. So this is topic about the discounts which we discussed. You save your time is around, as you can see, 69%. You have the main connection, so you don't have to do twice the same activities, because it's automatically connected: sourcing, contract, buying, sourcing, buying, contract. You have like a pyramid, and the information automatically sent to all modules, and everything is automatically integrated, but you have to have all 3 modules in place. So seeing that numbers, you see how powerful contract compliance is. Yes, I think this is all from my side. Asha, I'm giving you voice.
The next point we would like to introduce to you is the SAP Business Network. And in terms of Ariba, it is focusing on the buyer account and buyer account and the trading partner account, so the accounts for suppliers. The Ariba network is like connecting the business partners worldwide and is allowing them to form relationships and also conduct transactions via the internet. And in terms of the buyer account, so as the buyer organization would need to create an account on SAP Business Network that will enable to control all the transactional rules and visibility of their own data over the internet, over the Ariba platform. And I would like to list the main benefits that comes with the usage of Ariba for the buyer organization. The main one is in terms of the supplier enablement, is the possibility to integrate with your suppliers on different levels. So depending on the engagement level, the numbers of documents with the chosen supplier, you can offer them to integrate either via a standard web interface, they will just receive the your orders and different documents over the platform. You can also like send them email or fax purchase orders, or you can go for the like full integration, including EDI. So it all depends on the level of the engagement that you have with the supplier. You can choose different integration for different suppliers. Ariba is also offering the option that is called Ariba Discovery, which is connected to the information that each supplier, each partner that is using Ariba can provide to all the other participants. So you can choose, once you are creating the account, you can choose what information will be visible to other Ariba users. You will like show what kind of goods are you delivering or are you looking for. You will be able to introduce your company, share some success stories and so on, and decide if this will be visible to others or not. If you will enable this option and would like to present to the others what kind of business are you doing, then for example, in terms of the RFX, also the different projects, when the other company would post something in Ariba Network, the system will allow you to see it. It can also send some notification that will inform you that this and this company is now looking for a provider for some certain services or goods. Also, the very big advantage of Ariba Network is the fact that you can have one platform, one account, one place from which you will manage different type of orders and procurement processes. So within Ariba, you can do the whole S2P process, just like Marcin and Dania mentioned. So you will be able to receive or to send to your potential suppliers the requests for quotations, information, or proposals. You will be able to sign contracts and negotiate contracts, and also then to handle the purchase orders, not only the indirect ones but also the direct ones. And it can be all done within one account, one login. What else? Also for the suppliers that would like to use the platform for different clients, there is a possibility to post your catalogs. You can allow all the Ariba Network users to see them. You can restrict the view just for your chosen current trading partners. The catalogs can be managed fully by suppliers, and you can set up different validation rules on Ariba Network and to like reduce the efforts on your side. And then if from technical point of view everything is fine, then you just review the content. So Ariba is supporting the standard catalogs, but also the punch-out ones and spot buy. And the next point is the invoicing, which is also like something that you can a bit transfer to the supplier, because you will reduce the paper invoices. You can reduce the resources on your side, because you will no longer need so many resources involved in the invoicing, like preparing and loading the invoices into your system. The suppliers can do that for you. So using Ariba, they can either create the invoices directly in their account, or they can also import the invoices to their account, and then it will be sent to you. And here we have also the benefits for suppliers, focusing on the supplier point of view. This little screen shows the dashboard on Ariba Network supplier account. So supplier has an easy access to all the documents that were exchanged with all the clients. Also on Ariba account, you can have multiple users with different authorizations. You can assign particular clients to chosen users, so the work would be divided, and the visibility of different documents can be restricted just to the chosen users. And each user can have its own login and password. So it also helps to manage the purchase orders in a better, more efficient way. Like I mentioned previously, Ariba is allowing to create. It is allowing the suppliers to create the invoices online or import them and then transfer it via Ariba Network. The big benefit of that is that supplier sees the actual status of each invoice, of each document that has been sent, whether it has been sent successfully and the other side received it or not. What is the processing status, whether it is still reconciling, or maybe the payment is already prepared. So it is all up to date. There will be not that many calls directly to buyers asking for payments and so on. Another benefit is the upstream account. The little screen on the bottom right corner is showing that we can switch between different modules. So SAP Business Network, this is meant for managing purchase orders and invoices. Ariba Contract Management is related to contracts, and so the topic that Martin has already introduced. And then we have Ariba Proposals and Questionnaires, which is related to the upstream processes, so the sourcing processes. So a supplier can have all the information, just like I said before, within one account. So moving forward, here we have the standard procure-to-pay process managed or handled in Ariba. And this diagram, so we can use it to say a bit more about the SAP Ariba buying and invoicing. So this scenario is related to the purchase orders that are initiated in SAP buying and invoicing module. And once we create a purchase requisition and it goes through various approvals, we can create different approval paths depending on commodities, on account assignments, and many different topics. And once the purchase requisition is approved, then it goes to the ERP system, and the PO is generated and sent to Ariba Network. Once it reaches Ariba network, then it's transferred to the supplier. Depending on the integration level, that integration option that we have chosen for the supplier, it can be sent either directly to the account. It can also generate an email or send via fax or using EDI directly to the supplier's ERP. And the actions, the standard actions that would be taken by the supplier, that would be firstly PO confirmation or rejection, depending on the restrictions, the transactional rules chosen by the buyer's organization. Suppliers can also send partial confirmations or suggest changes. But considering the standard process, this would be PO confirmation or rejection. And this will be sent directly to buyer's organization and to the requisitioner. The next item that can be done from supplier side is the shipment notice. And again, it can be partial, it can be full, it can be also skipped if the buyer's organization doesn't require it. And independent from the fact whether there is already good receipt or service entry sheet entered in buying and invoicing by the requester, the supplier is also able to send us an invoice. And again, this can be a partial invoice, this can be a full invoice. It can also be a non-PO invoice because there is also such an option. Non-PO invoice, and also we can submit an invoice related to the contract. And once such an invoice is, maybe it is also important that there is the option of PO flip, which means that the supplier just clicks one button for the PO invoices, and all the fields are automatically filled out, and they just need to create the PO, the invoice number. So this is a very quick process, and is can speed up the whole process. So once the invoice is sent via network to the buyer organization, it reaches the Ariba buying and invoicing module, and where the reconciliation process can be handled. And here we can have different, Ariba is doing the basic verification, verifying the PO versus the invoice, checking if there are all the needed GRs or service sheets, and if anything is missing or there is a mismatch, then the system will stop such an invoice. And basing on the exception type, so basing on the mismatch or the missing information, it will assign the invoice for clarification to the respective group that was chosen to manage these kind of mismatches, of this kind of invoice issues. And I didn't mention before, this could be also important. So from SAP Ariba Buying and Invoicing, we can initiate catalog orders. So we have standard catalogs, we have punch outs, we have spot buy. We can create the free text or ad hocs. So from create PO from scratch, providing our information that we gathered before, and also we can have some predefined forms basing on the commodity codes that will also be handled like ad hoc POs, but we'll have some additional predefined fields specific for the chosen category. Yeah, and I think that we covered the whole process here, all that we have described. And the last slide is just showing how Ariba can help to enrich your procurement processes. This example is based on SAP for HANA processes. And we have here, just a second, I'm really sorry. Here we have the basic processes and also the information what we can additionally gain using Ariba, SAP Ariba, like the actions that are on the standard on the supplier side, but normally they are not a part of the process itself. So I think that would be all when it comes to my part. And now we will have some time for the Q&A session.
Thank you, everybody, and we still have a couple of minutes left for Q&A session, and we actually have several questions here. So, but first, thank you for all the speakers, and thank you for everybody who has been listening to the webinar. And if we go a couple of minutes over time, we will still keep going because I would like to have answers to these questions that the audience have asked. And if you have still questions remaining, please send us those via the questions section. So, but let's get started. There is a first question is, what are the key differences and or benefits comparing SAP Ariba and S4H P2P purchasing /MM capabilities? It's a long question, but who will be taking this?
Marcin, Anna or Joanna, would you like to compare S4HANA basic functionalities with the SAP Ariba? I think it's a completely different world, but what will be the main key differences? How would you summarize?
Yeah, so for sure, we can cover here the whole process, like sourcing, contracting, and purchase orders. Of course, the combination of the contracts and catalogs and standard orders is like the main benefit, and according to the suppliers, to the client stories, it is one of the processes that they are frequently asking about, because they want to combine the catalogs, the contracts, and also like create contracts directly from the project, so just sourcing documents.
Yes.
And you can have all the information in one place with all the history. You can see each step that was taken by you or by the supplier and track all the changes, all the updates. It is all within one place.
In addition, the main difference between those two softwares is fully different than SAP Ariba and S4HANA. But why mainly Ariba is chosen? Maybe not mainly, but depends what you would like to achieve, right? In case, as Asha mentioned, in case you would like to achieve the full integration, that you have full process overview, you are using SAP Ariba. As Asha mentioned, you have the full integration between SLP, contract, sourcing, buying, invoicing. And what is the most important, you have Ariba Network. Ariba Network for direct and indirect. So you have the supply chain collaboration and standard Ariba Network. You have the proper cooperation with the suppliers and the proper view. That's why in that particular case, you're supposed to go with SAP Ariba. What Ashans also mentioned, the full digitalization of the catalog. You have the view like an Amazon. So you have not only the standard catalogs, which you can choose and you can make an order, but you have also the punch out where the supplier is creating the whole story about the items and make the integration between the SAP Ariba where you can make a purchase.
Great, thank you. Let's go a bit over time and with the short answers with a couple of more questions. Question, can approvals within the acceptance path be implemented using a mobile app?
Implementation of the approval flow, or having the okay, I understood the question. So the approval flow is very complex, and you can have the cross-module approval flow. Not only you can put the people from one module, but from the rest of the modules whenever you have implemented all modules in SAP Ariba. You have the mobile application where you cannot create the approval flow because you do not have the admin authorization. You can make only some actions which are required from your side. So you can jump into the purchase requisition and you see yourself in the approval flow. You can make the action approve or deny, or you can be a watcher and see the historical information, but you cannot make administration activities via the phone.
And then there's a final more open question asking about transparency of spend management.
This is a great question. Spend management is something what is about integration. So spend management is showing you the information starting from sourcing, where you awarded suppliers, going to the contract management, where you have the discounts and all the required information about how you can cooperate with the suppliers, and going through the buying, where you realize the contract, so you are really buying and using that contract. This is the spend management, where you can make the visualization of that in your dashboard. You can create a report and showing you all the progress of the processes, but you can also export the report which is showing you based on the particular suppliers, users, or commodity, where you can evaluate your spend management.
Great, thank you. Thank you for the questions. We're a bit over time, and I would like to thank Aki, Joanna, Anna, and Marcin for the webinar and for these presentations, interesting Ariba topic. And also thank you for everybody who was on the line. You will get the recording and the PDF materials in a feedback message. Any closing words, Aki?
No, thanks for the participation, and let's keep the lines open, and please join the next session on the 24th. Welcome.
Yes, hope to see you all in upcoming FINUC events, and you can find more on the FINUC website. And I wish everybody a great evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.